what's up everybody, and welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and if you guys don't already know, we're about midway through right now, but this is 1984 month on the Mid-Level Media channel. I'm trying to watch as many 1984 films as I can. I've already seen quite a few prior to this month, so I'm not watching a lot of the mainstream stuff like Ghostbusters and Temple of Doom, although I did watch Terminator, and I did a review for that, so definitely go check that out if you haven't already. So I'm trying to dive into some stuff, the more obscure stuff. I'm sure the stuff I'm going to talk about here today is pretty popular amongst certain groups, but just not like the most well-known titles is what I'm trying to accomplish with this month. I'm trying to watch at least 15 to 20 new 1984 films. So I've probably seen about 30 before this month. But anyway, guys, I've got 6 films that I watched for the first time from 1984 that I'm going to talk about with you guys here today. Some of them I watched on Blu-ray. Some of them I watched boutique editions of, and then some of them I just watched on streaming. So we're going to cover all the bases here today. I'm also going to be shouting out some of those that have taken part in 1984 month, and I'll link all those channels and Instagram accounts down below for sure. Yeah, before we get to talking about all of these titles and movies and all that good stuff, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber to the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. I do tons of stuff on this channel, mostly centered around the world of physical media. New Blu-ray and 4K reviews, unboxing videos, collection updates, live streams with other collectors. Themed months like this, where we did Western month in January, we did Buddy Cop month in February, now 1984 month. Hit the subscribe button. Also, be sure to like this video and comment down below of all the ones that I discussed here today. Which one's your favorite? And do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me on my thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below, and also turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. So I'm sorry I got a little aggressive there, didn't I? But let's get into this, guys. So the first one that I watched, this might have been the first movie I actually watched for the entire month, but I'm just getting around to talking about it. So I watched The Natural, again from 1984, but this is starring Robert Redford. You got Glenn Close in this movie, Kim Basinger, Robert Duvall, Wilford Brimley. Did I say Wilford Brimley? I think is his name, but he was in The Thing, obviously, and the diabetes guy, diabetes from the commercials. But great cast in this movie, stellar cast, and it is a baseball, kind of like an inspirational baseball sports movie drama. I like this one. The only thing that I'm going to say about this, and I did watch it on Blu-ray. I know it has a 4K, but I just had the Blu-ray copy. I think the Blu-ray is $9.45. You can get that now, and the 4K is $15.60. So if you're going to pick this up, you might as well get the 4K. It's really not that much more expensive. So I definitely can see where this could have improved visually for sure. But as for the movie, guys, I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. It's a little long. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think. The only issue I had with it was the setup is very strange, and actually ends up being more interesting than the actual movie itself. I want to know more about this like Scarlet Silver bullet killer. Like she's going around killing like all these top athletes and stuff, or trying to. In the case of Robert Redford, she doesn't succeed. But he's a young athlete and he's on his way up to the MLB. He's sure to be a star. He's great in the game of baseball. And then he gets lured in by this woman while he's dating Glenn Close. That's like his childhood sweetheart. And she shoots him and basically permanently injures him for the next 16 years. He can't play the game. And definitely knocks him out of the running for, getting recruited and all that kind of stuff. So knocks him out. Then he comes back 16 years later. He's kind of a mystery. People don't really know about him, know about his story. He's kind of trying to keep all of that under wraps. Doesn't really want anybody to know about it. And then he tries to get back into the game at a little bit older age. And they hire him onto the team, and he takes them all the way to the pennant, redeems himself as the sports hero that he is. And yeah, he turns out to be a natural. It doesn't matter if he got shot or not. So I liked the story. Like I liked, everything that came after that. But it's a very odd and strange setup to this movie that they don't really ever explore again in the entire film. And it's like, I want to know more about that. Like, where did she come from? Like, is she part of like a cult or something? Did she think that he was a werewolf? I don't understand the silver bullet thing. Maybe somebody can enlighten me. Maybe they did explain it and I missed it. But, it's a good movie. It's one of those a little hokey type of films. You know, it kind of hits all of those emotional beats with Glenn Close coming back and they're kind of rekindling their romance. But then you got Kim Basinger, she's kind of in the mix as well. So very well acted film. I mean, Robert Redford is a great actor and he's definitely great in this movie. Just kind of embodies that kind of stoic and heroic type character. Like, you completely buy that he's this sports hero in this movie. So I enjoyed the film. I think I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. It's not something I thought was great, but I thought it was pretty good. So The Natural was the first one that I watched. And then I watched the Scream Factory edition of Night of the Comet. And I enjoyed Night of the Comet quite a bit. It wasn't as horror-based as I thought it was. It wasn't as horrific as I thought it was. I thought it was going to be more of like a full-fledged like zombie apocalypse type film. It has a little bit of that in there, but it's not really that at all. It's really just about these two girls that are kind of trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic city. I don't know what city that they're in this movie. Oh, I almost dropped the movie. They're in Los Angeles. They're in Los Angeles, so they're going around. They're having fun at first, and they discover zombies, and they meet this other guy, and then they discover they're trying to get rescued by this research facility, and they've got their own nefarious plans on what to do with these people who survive. So they kind of get thrown in with them, and they realize that maybe they don't want to be rescued by this group of researchers. So. It says on the back with the tagline, Night of the Living Dead meets Valley Girl in this entertaining tongue-in-cheek pastiche of numerous science fiction films. I can definitely see that. It's a lot of different things in a one. I did appreciate it for, it having the two female leads in this movie. You got Catherine Mary Stewart, who's in another film that we're going to talk about here in a second. You got Kelly Maroney. I liked both of them together. They play sisters. I thought they had great chemistry. They're both super charming and they're just really fun to watch. So I enjoyed both of them in this movie. Again, it's not a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's got some fun moments in it. Like I did like the whole department store thing. And then they start going into different ideas of different types of groups that have kind of sprung up in this post-apocalyptic era. There's like these dudes that are wearing like all sunglasses and they got machine guns and stuff. It's a cool movie. It's a cool little movie. I could see myself returning to this one and having fun with it. So Night of the Comets. Interesting setup too. It's just like a comet that goes over and kind of disintegrates a bunch of people. It's a cool movie, but then some people are left behind and they turn into zombies. And I liked it. I like Night of the Comet. It's got some really good special features of the Scream Factory release. The transfer I thought was top notch as well. I think this one came out back in 2013, but it's got interviews with both of the girls in it, which is really cool to talk to both of them later on. So yeah, I got interviews with stars Kelly Maroney, Catherine Mary Stewart, the actor that's in the film with them, which is actually a really interesting interview. Because he goes into like how they tried to get him. Actually, Robert Beltran. He goes into how they tried to get him. They really wanted him to star in this movie, and they got him. He didn't know if he wanted to star in like a silly zombie movie at the time, and they got him by saying, "All right, we'll give you top billing," even though he's not really the main character of this movie. Like the two girls are the main characters, but they give him top billing on the film. So that's a really cool interview. He gives a good interview. Really interesting one. They talk about the director of the movie and stuff. So some really great special features with this one. Highly recommend picking up that Night of the Comet release. I think it's only, let me look right here. I think it's only $14.99 on Amazon right now. So I definitely recommend picking this one up. And it's got, it's got reversible cover art. And these early Scream Factory titles, they actually would come with DVDs. So this one's got a Blu-ray and a DVD copy in here. And then you got your alternate cover art. So yeah, again, I feel like I'm rambling here, but that's what I tend to do on this channel. But I enjoyed Night of the Comet a lot. I thought it was super fun. And I recommend that you watch. I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So let's move into the next one, guys. We're going to talk about Grandview USA. So this is a Kino Lorber release. Right here, and I'll show you all the back of it. It's got, I'd never heard of this movie before. It had Jamie Lee Curtis, Patrick Swayze are both in this movie. It's got other people in it too. Jennifer Jason Leigh is in this film, who's a stone cold fox in this film. I'll just say that right now. And you got, as is Jamie Lee Curtis as well. And yeah, it's got a good cast. It's got there's some other people in it I can't think of off the top of my head, but it's got a bunch of people I've recognized. I just can't think of their name. This is a fun movie. This is a fun movie too. It's kind of a coming of age film. It's also a romance kind of love triangle movie. I do think Patrick Swayze it's not like the most well acted film or the best film like dramatically. It's not going to win any Oscars or anything. But I do think that Patrick Swayze, of everybody in this film, actually gives a really great performance. Just with the material that he has to do in this movie. Like he's kind of a drunk and his wife's cheating on him. He has to go to some dark places at points in this film. And I actually think he gives a really great performance in this movie. Everybody else is good, but he's kind of elevated. And I don't know where this was in his career. It feels like it was definitely at the beginning. It doesn't feel like they're really making him the star of this movie. Definitely Jamie Lee Curtis is kind of the star of this film, because by then she had, Halloween, Trading Places, all those. But Patrick Swayze doesn't feel like they're trying to make him front and center like the star, but he's definitely the standout for me as far as the performance in this movie. So again, I don't know if he had really popped as an actor yet, but he would definitely go on to after this. Not sure when Roadhouse was, but C. Thomas Howell, I don't think I've ever seen in anything. It says he's in The Hitcher, but I honestly don't remember him. In The Hitcher, yeah, Emmett Walsh was the one he was in Blood Simple. And I believe he was on some sitcoms in the 90s too. So, oh yeah, John Cusack and Joan Cusack are in this film. Very small parts, but they're in it as well. I knew there were some more people. I needed Kino Lorber to tell me on the back. So this is a fun movie. It's directed by the same person that directed Grease. So that's actually kind of interesting too. And you can definitely see some of those influences in this film with his direction, because there are a couple of like dream sequences that feel like music videos that feel straight ripped out of like a musical like Grease. Like the one right there, you have a shot of both of them, Jamie Lee Curtis and him. And that's like a musical number video where Jamie Lee Curtis gets all stripped down and dressed up like an 80s rock babe and, dances around and stuff. So she's not like that through the rest of the film. She's kind of more, she owns this demolition derby track, and, Patrick Swayze's the driver there, and this kid kind of gets tangled in with them. His dad's the owner of the bank, and the bank owns trying to shut down the demolition derby. So there's all kinds of drama within that and stuff. So I thought it was a really good movie. I give it, it's not great. I'd probably give it around 3.5 out of 5 for Grandview USA. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked it up from Kino Lorber. Trying to see if there's any special features on this. They're not really promoting any on the back, and I don't remember seeing any. So this might be a bare bones release by Kino Lorber, to be honest. But I think you can get this for about $20 on Amazon and deep discount right now. So let's move into the next two. I don't have Blu-ray copies for, but I want to talk about Splash, directed by Ron Howard. I watched this on Tubi because I had heard about how they edited out some sequences on Disney Plus. So I didn't watch it on Disney Plus. I actually watched it on Tubi. So I had to watch some commercials and stuff. And Tubi is great for trying out some of these movies. They have tons of Arrow Video titles and Vinegar Syndrome and a lot of obscure 80s horror films, tons of giallos on Tubi. Definitely check out Tubi. But it's a great place to try some movies out before you're going to purchase them on physical media. Not the best quality when you're watching some of these movies on there, but it's an adequate placeholder until you want to buy these and purchase them on physical media. But anyway, I watched Splash on Tubi, had some commercials in there and stuff, but this movie's got Tom Hanks in it, John Candy. I love both of those. That's really all I needed. They're so good in this movie. The movie's plot-wise isn't the strongest. It's a fun movie from the 80s, but John Candy and Tom Hanks just elevate it so much. They just elevate the material. Just those two and their interactions and their chemistry together. They play brothers as well in the movie. They're so funny. I just love their interactions together. I don't know if they've been in any other movies together, but I don't think I've seen them both in the movies together, in any movies together before this. But I've been watching a lot of 80s Tom Hanks recently. I love Big. I watched Turner and Hooch for Buddy Cop Month. I'm watching Splash right now. There's some other ones I definitely want to watch of Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks in the 80s. I need to rewatch The Burbs. That is one I need to rewatch. I didn't love it the first time. I need to rewatch that one again. But yeah, Tom Hanks is great. I don't think there's ever been a time that when Tom Hanks hasn't been great. I don't think there has been. He's phenomenal in this movie. I love this movie. Daryl Hannah is great in this film. She doesn't talk much in the first part of the film, but once she gets, I think she learns English from like watching sitcoms or something at an electronics store for a little bit, and then she all of a sudden knows how to talk in English. But it is that classic like fish out of water scenario. She's a literal fish out of water. So he kind of meets her in the ocean, and she's a mermaid, and she comes ashore and they meet. It's really cool how they deal with the just the mechanics of her mermaid. Of her being a mermaid. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but because when she gets out, you don't really see this a lot, or at least what I know of mermaids from like The Little Mermaid didn't happen with her. But when she gets out of the water, like her fins go away and they turn into legs. And when she gets wet and goes in the water, they turn into fins. And that actually plays into the plot and some of the story later on in the film. So it actually, you know, it's actually pretty cool how they work that out. But I really like that part of it. But yeah, he gets her. They meet in the ocean again. She comes back with him to the city and kind of, you know, he gets a hotel for her. Then they end up staying together. They fall in love and get romantic and all that stuff in the movie. But there are nude shots in the film when she gets out. And you can see her butt. And there's a really funny sequence where she comes out, I think right where like the Statue of Liberty is. And everybody's like, all the men are like running towards her and taking pictures. It's really funny. But there's just a lot of really funny moments in here. And Daryl Hannah does a great job acting alongside Tom Hanks. Like, and they both have great chemistry together in this movie. But it's just a fun movie, and directed by Ron Howard. So had to have been one of his earliest films. And yeah, it's one of those movies I've always heard about my whole life, but just never felt the need to watch. So I was like, I'm sure I know what it is. It's about a mermaid, Tom Hanks, and they fall in love. Like, I know all I need to know. But when I watched it, I was so glad I watched it, because this is like one of my new favorites from the 80s. I absolutely love this film. So I got to give this one a splash, probably like a 4.5 out of 5. I really thought it was great. Definitely probably of all the 80s movies I've watched in this batch, it was probably my favorite. So moving on to the next one, we got to talk about Chud or Chud or CHUD, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. And then they get another name in the movie also. But yeah, this one was kind of weird. I don't know off the top of my head who directed this movie. But I will say, I feel like a lot of these movies had Home Alone stars in them because we had John Candy in Splash, and now we've got the dad from Home Alone, and we got Daniel Stern, one of the burglars in Home Alone, both in this movie. And this is an interesting one. It really wasn't what I expected. It was more of, I thought it was going to be like B monster horror, which it definitely is. But it wasn't as nasty and dingy and disgusting as I thought it would be. I thought there would be more horror to it. I thought there would be more people getting ripped apart. There is that stuff, but it's very few and far between, and they don't really show it. They cut away a lot when the monsters are attacking people. There is one sequence where it comes out of the sewer and you don't see anything after that. You just see it coming towards them and it cuts away. There's a sequence where one of them's getting attacked from inside a pipe and it just kind of pulls him in and it cuts away. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff. You don't really see the monsters attacking too often. You don't even really see the monster itself until probably like 45 minutes to an hour in. But I enjoyed this movie. It kind of felt like at a certain point, once all the monsters and creatures started coming out of the sewers and stuff, it felt a little bit like Gremlins to me. Like it had that kind of feel and it was kind of terrorizing everybody and everything. This movie also has the mom from Homeward Bound. I just recognized her in this movie, but she's not a very good actress. She really wasn't that good in this movie, is one thing that I'll say. But I enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it's a fun like creature feature type movie, but not really as B-level as I thought it would be. Like I said, it feels more like Gremlins. It felt like an actual movie. I guess that's a compliment that I can give it. I just thought it would be a little bit more nasty. I thought it'd be a little bit more disgusting. Like I thought there would be more people get ripped apart and blood and guts and stuff. And there is some of that, but it's really not a whole lot. So it's about they're kind of investigating what's going on in the sewers because some people are disappearing throughout the movie. And, they go to investigate and stuff. And there's just not a lot that goes on in this movie till probably about the last 20 minutes of the film. And then when it wraps up, it just kind of feels incomplete and a little bit unsatisfactory. So I wasn't completely satisfied with the ending of this one. So I'll give this a 3 out of a 5. It's a good, it's an okay movie. You know, I'm glad I didn't buy the Arrow version because it does have an Arrow version for like $27.99. So I'm glad I didn't spend the money on that. I'm glad I watched it on Tubi. I might get it down the line on a sale or something. But yeah, that's Chud. Also, we got to talk about Splash again real quick. I'm sorry. The fact that that doesn't have a Blu-ray release is ridiculous. Get on that, like right now. I know Disney doesn't, because I think Disney owns them now, but I know Disney doesn't put out, I don't think they put out Blu-ray catalog. Do it like a Disney Club or something. I would sign up for the Disney Club just to get Splash on Blu-ray, or just do 4K. I don't care, but that movie is a classic. It's great. Put that sucker out on physical media. All it's got, it's a DVD release right now. It's ridiculous. All right, so the last one that we're going to talk about, guys, is The Last Starfighter. And I actually finished watching this morning. So this is another film from 1984. And yeah, I'd never seen this movie. I've always heard about it. And this is a cool little movie. This is a cool little movie that I did quite enjoy. It is directed by none other than the Shape himself, Michael Myers. Yeah, Nick Castle used to direct movies. I think he directed this and Dennis the Menace are the two that I know off the top of my head. But yeah, directed by Michael Myers. It's pretty cool. And it also is starring the guy that was in Lance Guest. He was in Halloween 2. So you have like 2 Halloween connections to this movie. But I thought Lance Guest was a really good lead in this film. Kind of that younger, naive, like doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life, you know, trying to find his place in the world, kind of turned heroic character, kind of the same as a Luke Skywalker. I think that's what they were probably going for. I thought he was really good in this movie, playing the lead. And you also do have the same girl that was in Night of the Comet. Catherine Mary Stewart is in this movie. She's really something. I like her. I liked her in that one and this one. Why wasn't she in more movies? I feel like she should have been in more movies and felt like she should have been a bigger star than what she was. Because I was looking at her IMDb and she really didn't have a whole lot beyond this one and Night of the Comet. So somebody let me know in the comment section below. Why wasn't Catherine Mary Stewart, maybe because her name's not the easiest to remember, a bigger star than she was in the 80s? Because I think she's super charming and charismatic and definitely very good looking. So yeah, I don't know why. I thought she was awesome in both the movies. Like, she was great. She's not in this one as much, but she's great in the role she's in. I love the scene by the fire with between her and the B model, the beta model is what they call it. Like the stand-in for Lance Guest's character when he's out, when he gets taken away. So this also has, if you're a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy, it definitely has those Guardians of the Galaxy type feels to it. Like maybe telling the story of what would happen with Chris Pratt in the in-between time between when he was a kid and got abducted to when he actually turned into Star-Lord. Like, this kind of might take the place of that, because he does get taken away by the aliens because he gets the top score on the arcade game. And they basically take him to go fight in this intergalactic war. And throughout the movie, like, the villains like immediately take out every single other starfighter that's in the army. So he ends up being the only one left, you know, hence the title, The Last Starfighter. And he has to basically take all these aliens out himself. So there's a lot of aerial combat or space combat in this movie. I will say the effects don't completely hold up. They do not completely hold up at all. But I know that this did come out after Star Wars, so I can see people saying, all right, there's no excuse. It should have had better effects than this. But I'm sure it didn't have a fourth or a fifth the budget that Star Wars had. Like, Star Wars was a huge franchise. So I'll give it a pass because I'm sure the budget wasn't nowhere near what Star Wars was. But you can tell in those space fighting sequences that they did really want to be like a Star Wars type movie. So yeah, a fun adventure, fantasy, coming of age movie. And yeah, with just some fun characters, some cool moments. And I enjoyed The Last Starfighter quite a bit. I'd probably give that one a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. So there you have it, guys. I don't think I missed anything. You know, we watched, you can get The Last Starfighter, by the way, on Blu-ray right now. The Arrow video version looked fantastic. By the way, the transfer on this was freaking spectacular. It's a 4K scan of the original 35mm camera negative. And this has tons of special features. So you can get this Arrow release for $20.99 right now on Amazon.com. But if you just want the regular bare bones Blu-ray, it's only $5.99. So also cheap. But yeah, these all the movies I watched, guys, on Blu-ray. I had a good time, and yeah, we caught up on all the 1984 movies. Let's get into everybody that joined me in this 1984 month on YouTube. So Catch All Media put out a video, Wheels on Meals. Like I said, I'm going to be linking all of these channels and videos down below. He reviewed Wheels on Meals, which has a Eureka release. I'd never heard this movie before, but he said it's a great comedy, so definitely check out his video. We got Pladex2 that did his 1984 collection, so check out his video. You got My Killer Podcast did her 10 favorites hit list, where she ran down 10 of her all-time favorite 1984 films. Great video. Brando Critic did a review for the Best Picture winner for 1984, Amadeus. Great review. Go check that out as well. You got Mega Mike the Movie Man did a review of Gremlins, which was awesome. Go check that out and check out his channel. Again, I'll link all of that down below, but I've also been linking them in the stories on my community tab on YouTube, so go check all those out. Everybody that's been participating on Instagram as well, go follow me on Instagram, check out my stories. Like I said, if you want to take part, do a post, hashtag MLM 1984 movie month on there, and I will share it to my stories on Instagram. So with that, guys, we are done with this 6-film review video, and I'm exhausted. I could tell you, I'm exhausted right now. I appreciate everybody watching. Continue to follow along with me for 1984 month. I got plenty of other movies that I want to watch before this month's over with. I'm going to get into some of my Criterion pickups pretty soon. So appreciate you guys watching. Please like, comment down below, what is your favorite of all the films that I cover here today. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are in the description, and we'll see you next time.